hand it to your partner and let them practice putting it on their index finger. Okay. There's actually a soft stop and a hard stop. The soft stop is when you push it down and it kind of catches, but there's still some white showing in there. And the soft stop is good for pumping and mixing. Then when you're pumping and mixing something in a test tube and you want to suck it up and transfer it to something, to squirt it into something, you push it all the way down. So that hard stop as far as it goes. So this is set at, you can practice while I'm talking, this is set at 1,000 microliters, 1000. Just keep it there. Because this would turn it, but we really don't want you to do that. We want to keep it at 1,000 microliters. Everything in the lab is metric, just like the temperature, 37. And then liquid measurement is metric, so we have 1,000 microliters, which is the same as 1 milliliter. This is a 1 milliliter vial. So then 1,000 milliliters would be 1 liter. So you need 1,000 of these things to fill up like a liter bottle of Coke, or 1,000 full pumps of this micropipette. But metric is easy in labs and it's used around the world. Okay, so what you do is hold on to this. The first person who uses this is going to place one firmly but gently in the box of one tip in your box so that you lift it out like this. Because you can't touch anything with your fingers. It could become contaminated too easily by things in the air that even get under the biosafety hood there. Because you'd normally all be working under a biosafety cabinet or hood like that glass cabinet over there. And only your hands go in to work on things and the clean air blows through. So you have to all imagine that instead of sitting out here in the open, each of you is under a hood. Okay, so then you close your box of pipette tips. When you're not using something, you always keep it closed for sterile lab technique.
Then do you click the button to make
We'll
it
get
go
to
out?
that.
Do you click the button to make it
Not yet, because we have to use it first. But you're right, there's a button on the back, but don't use it yet. That's for clicking into the vial of stuff. Okay, so open up your vial of cells. Someone can hold that. Someone can hold the test tube, or you can put it in the rack. See, now I'm just me, so I'm actually pinching the vial with my finger and index finger, and holding the test tube with my index finger and my index finger. See that? If you're on your own. Okay, so however you want to do it. I mean, I did take a 6-day course, a real growing stem cell course, very detailed and in-depth, so I learned how to do it for real. So I could figure out a way how to recreate this lab for the public, which was challenging to keep it free, but we're doing it. So, okay. So then what you do is you want to transfer the cells and liquid from the little vial to the larger test tubes. Plenty of room to feed.
Why is there liquid in it?
Remember what happened by the liquid nitrogen? When they were shipped to you, they packed the cells in this freezer burn solution. Maybe I didn't talk about that. Probably forgot. I did. Okay.
You did.
Days when I have like 2 or 3 groups.
These should be touching the pipette thing.
No, you don't want to touch. Like if you touch that to your hand by accident or your clothes in a real lab, you have to start over with a new one.
Because that's contaminated.
Yeah.
So you gotta really be careful.
The biggest danger to growing stem cells in a lab.
This is just a
And
simulation.
this is a simulation,
so we're
but
okay.
it's good to try to do it the real way.
And
Nope,
if
we
you
use
mess
ginger
up,
powder
it's
for the cells, so that I
fun
don't have
to
to charge you each
try
$1,000
over.
for the cells.
I can't pay you that.
I know.
Yeah, me. Can
And
I
even
transfer
the
now?
cell food,
Yeah, can we?
the food coloring water, it looks like real cell food, but the real cell food is so purified and so tested for contaminants and pure that it's $100 for this. So you could drink it, but it would be one really expensive super bill.
And it wouldn't taste good probably.
Yeah, so food coloring water, ginger powder, everything else is real. Just gonna keep
Ah,
this free and
okay,
really
cool.
give you guys a good introduction to the lab. Okay, so what you want to do is figure out how you can do it yourself or your partner. You push this down a tiny bit, like just half an inch, because that's a tiny vial. Push this down, watch and listen about a tiny bit, and while it's pushed down, place it into your vial. And just mini pumps to mix that powder with the cryoprotectant. And once it looks like it's kind of mini pump mixed up, you can release it it out. Release the suction. And then you're gonna squirt it. And then when everybody's got some in their tip, yeah, everybody's doing it. You know, we do it different ways when there's one or two people. Yeah, thanks for helping. Then when there's some in there, you don't have to get all of it, or it'd probably splash out. If you try to like suck it all up, it'll just splash out. So little by little, you're gonna stick it in your test tube, and then you just push it down to the heart stop to squirt it all out into your test tube. Okay? Does anyone notice how I'm holding the test tube to do that? I'm angling it. Because if I did it like this and I squirted it down, it would fall like being thrown off a cliff. So don't do anything to your cells that you wouldn't want done to you. That's kind of the theme of the day. But that being said, I drop stuff all the time. If it's not, you know, I mean, this is a simulation. I'm just trying to tell you as if it were a real lab. Don't worry if you drop anything.
Well, I'm probably gonna try to study this stuff when I'm actually going to college, anyways.
Cool.
So it's good
Okay.
practice now.
Yeah, good practice now.
Cells
Very good
and
practice.
transferred to
So then the next person, you can hand it to your partner if you have one, and they can do a little tiny half an inch down. Stick it in there while you're still pushing it down just a little bit.
I did that.
And then mix it while it's in there. Push it down and release it while it's in there. You kind of just have to work at it. And it's kind of hard to explain it. You just have to do it.
I got it all. Wait, I can shake them and then you
So do I take all this now?
Don't shake it.
I know.
Yeah, you like take it
'Cause
like
you wouldn't want
this,
someone
and you stick
shaking
it.
you up and down as hard as possible.
No,
I
I
just
would want
take it
someone
all.
like going like this.
Right.
That would be kind
Yeah.
of fun. I would be like, wee.
Yeah. So the goal right now is the two of you, or if you're on your own, just try to gently,
Then do I still mix it with this?
try to gently
Alright.
transfer all your cells and liquid into the vial.
Drop it. It's all of this, right? Yeah, get it from here all the way into here. Oh, I contaminated it.
Yeah.
I
Good.
touched
You
it.
guys are doing great.
What do you want us to do with this time?
I'll wait till everybody's caught up and then I'll, yeah.
I'm just gonna close it. You're just gonna close it over.
Yeah.
Glenn, say hi to the camera. I've been doing this for almost 10 minutes.
Hi.
And then when everybody
It
sets,
says my battery's exhausted.
when everybody's done with this,
Stupid.
we've already used a tip, so we don't wanna reuse it again for something else.
So wash it
I
off.
guess it's actually exhausted. No, you throw it away.
Put 'em-
You can get rid of it and put a new tip on. You're in a real lab. Hey guys, watch. See, there's a little dark blue lever with your thumb. If you take it down off the blender and down there in the back, you can flick the tip off into your bio-waste bucket. Without,
So that's what this.
Where's the bio waste
you have
bucket?
a white bucket between.
Bio-waste. Then bio-waste.
Oh, that's cool.
It is actually exhausted.
So whenever
Someone have to
all
put
the liquid's
new
in the test tube,
batteries
and
in
you
it.
flick off your tip, set your
this button.
bucket down.
No more pictures for me. Push it down into the
Push
bio-waste.
it against
Yep.
this.
My mother probably wanna know how
Then
to
do it again.
Yeah.
And then guys,
Same time.
Maddie.
your vial should be empty, right?
Surely
So
is.
chuck that in the bio-waste
Land.
bucket too.
Mine is stuck.
Okay, where do we put this again? My battery's
Bio-waste
exhausted.
bucket. It's
Julie
empty,
says
right?
it's stuff.
Yeah.
It just flew off now. Biohazard.
What do I do with this now?
Keep it.
Put it back in here.
Okay.
Do I want the cap on?
Um,
Put the cap back on?
why?
Do I put the cap back? Yep.
I think we should do that.
I'm glad it did not go that far.
Yeah, I'm capping my test tube in cells and liquid and the test tube and putting it in the rack. See, now your cells are super hungry. And now they're in something where there's plenty of room to feed them. That's why we transfer.
So we just
Not
make them
actually
chug
exhausted.
jug this red stuff.
Yeah, we just pour it in and splash it. No, we do very careful lab pipetting.
Maddie.
Open up your media, which is self-food.
Wait, are we allowed to like keep this?
No,
Lab.
I use everything in the lab because we've had so many tens of thousands of people. Put your cap down, upside down on the mat of the big bottle of Kool-Aid. Please don't need it.
Kool-Aid. Actually,
Okay. This next step is really, really important to listen. I mean, it all is actually. These can be so easily damaged. If they get soaked, it just ruins the whole mechanism. Right. Work.
We're not picking that up yet.
Okay, so we're going to use next this motorized pipette, which is good for larger volumes of liquid. Okay, so one person is gonna use this, I wanna minimize handing off. And then in a few, 10 minutes or so, there's another person, they'll use it, okay? So one person for now, or if you're on your own, do it all. So we're gonna feed our cells in our test tube. This is very important. With exactly 8 milliliters of media. So if you hold this straight up and down, you'll see a little 8 and a big 2.
Don't get that from the teeth.
Yeah. Now, the most important thing I gotta tell you is always only hold this straight up and down. So
Matthew?
you'll tilt your test tube. You never ever tilt this back because the liquid will soak the filter. Not back to the side. Just move it around straight up and down. And when you're not done using it, grab it with both hands and set it gently back on your mat. Yeah. They said you couldn't do it, but we've only had to replace about a dozen in the last 10 years. So
Up, down, up, down.
What one goes up and what one goes out?
Do you know where you're filling it?
So some people are holding theirs the wrong way, so I really got to make sure when we continue.
So are we gonna fill it right now?
This, okay?
Okay.
Let's practice. Top button would suck up the liquid. The lower button.
Suck good. Push it down.
The lower button takes it
Down.
out, right?
Open
Suck
up
it
your
up.
cells in the test tube.
Up,
And then press the
down.
down button.
See what I'm doing? This is straight up and down. It's a little hand-to-eye coordination.
So open your cells.
The test tube you hold, or someone
test
else
tube
holds
with
it
cells.
slanted, but your pipette has to be straight up and down.
And your pipette has to be straight up and down.
Okay, place it halfway in the media bottle.
I
Try
think
not
you
to
can
touch
leave it
the
in your
opening.
rack.
Yeah.
And now this is where you gotta look at that little 8. Find that little 8, which is the same as the big 2 line. And press the top button and get exactly on the 8. If you overfill it, just push the bottom button. Top button up and down till it's exactly on 8. And then when you take it out, very important, hold it straight up and down. See like now?
Tip it when you get it out.
The vacuum pump keeps it in there. You guys are doing awesome.
And then we put it in. Scared.
And then grab your test tube, see what I'm doing? And watch for you when
Did
you're
it?
ready to.
Okay, since I'm a true scientist,
I
I'm standing.
I think that's a little
Wait,
too
fill
much.
it up to 4?
8, little 8.
Okay.
You're at, no, you're past 8.
No, I'm not.
Great job. Perfect.
Oh, little 8? Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, perfect. It looks just like mine, right?
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Right there.
Julius, once you're done
So
with it, then you need
empty
to carefully put that down. Put it into your test tube.
Okay, I'm gonna put mine in my rack so I can use both hands.
We got it.
So set this down real gently.
And then put everything in here, right?
Yup.
Matthew, how did she set it?
Yeah, excellent.
Look at directions.
Ready, like
Good
this.
job.
And
Alright, we're not playing continuing to play this. Do you remember how much you said this cost? So, take both hands and set it down on the,
Okay, look
like
at me.
that
See how
direction.
the caps go back on everything when it's not in use. Because again, the contamination risk from even air getting in the biofilm.
Put your caps back down.
Okay, so the next step is so important. Now, when Jamie first wrote a research paper on all these techniques, people, they haven't changed much over the years either. The media's changed and the way they, freeze the cells a little, get the cells, what kind of cells. But people were so used to in labs working with cells that are hard to kill. People were, what kind of cells are really hard to destroy? They don't get contaminated, they spread, they are hard to kill.
Virus.
Virus. Think of other diseases that are caused by pathogenic cells. Virus, bacteria, cancer cells, cells, fungus. A lot of cells, microbes are just really hard to kill. But stem cells come along and they're this new thing and they just get so easily contaminated and they're so easy to kill by something else called mechanical stress. You have a question?
Not a question, but weren't you talking about like curing cancer
Curing cancer.
or something like that?
Yeah, we're trying to grow healthy immune cells to replace
Cancer
especially
cells.
cancers like blood cancers. where it's a type of cell that's gone bad, like a leukemia, replace cancerous blood cell with healthy cells. Now for cancers that spread throughout your body, that's a little harder to prevent with just sticking in a healthy cell because it's invading your metastatic. I don't think stem cells can get to that. Yeah.
I feel like if the cancer like spread a lot, I feel like if you like mutate like one of the cells, it will like attack the other cancer.
They're working on that, yeah, but it still has to be not like in every organ. I mean, maybe they're still working on improving surgeries, chemotherapy, stuff like that. Yeah.
Where would you get the stem cells in the very beginning, like before they're even grown? Where do the people that grow them give them to you?
Julius.
So they get them from two
Landon.
sources. They get them
Landon.
from lab fertilized
Matthew.
embryos, where sperm in a lab are fertilized, sperm and an egg are fertilized in a lab setting, so they've never been in a woman's body. It's like an early embryonic stem cell that would, if it were in your body when you were an embryo, would grow, become all you, every cell in the body. But these embryos are donated. They're leftover unwanted frozen embryos that are willingly donated by women and couples who have paid money to an in vitro fertilization clinic to have embryos fertilized in the lab to implant so they can have a baby. And often they have extra embryos made that are thrown away. And so instead of throwing them away, Jamie got these patients to consent to donate some of these embryos to his lab. Now, even though they've never been in a body, the sperm and egg that were donated are still fertilized in a lab dish, and that still is an embryo, a human embryo with the potential to become a life. So they were very controversial. So what J.B. Thompson did then was he found out a way using the understanding of what makes a stem cell, and he took several years after his embryonic stem cells that he got, he found a way to make an embryonic-like stem cell, but without the need to destroy a lab-fertilized embryo. And he did that by taking a skin cell and genetically reprogramming it, inserting the right kinds of genes, which he figured out the right kinds of genes from studying embryonic stem cells. And he reprogrammed a skin cell, turned it back in time to be just like an embryonic stem cell, but without the need to destroy the embryo. So now these new kinds of stem cells, they're called induced pluripotent stem cells or iPS cells. They're being used a lot more than the embryonic stem cells, and they're less controversial. But it's like you have to do something that raises a big fuss so you can get the scientific knowledge to then improve. It's always not improving. So we better move on because I want to get you guys out of here on time. So anyway, I hold your questions because I've really got to cover some ground here. We are going to not shake these as hard on where did we start? Oh yeah, cancer cells, bacteria, viruses are so hard to kill. When people were mixing things in them with the lab, they'd shake them on these machines because they wouldn't die. Well, people starting to grow stem cells were putting them on their old lab equipment and shaking and vibrating them, and all the stem cells died. So that's called mechanical stress. You can kill cells by contaminating them. You can kill them by shaking them too hard. So Jamie figured out that all you do is you rock your cells, your test tube back and forth like a boat,
So they slide
half a dozen times. And that was all it took. That was enough to get them enough food to slow down the death rate. The problem is, we're not done. We can't just put them on the dish and grow them now, even though they're fed. This first step was actually feeding and rinsing. But we have to now give them fresh food and do this all over again. Why? Well, they needed food, but now we're gonna take this first feeding and rinsing off and give them fresh food because it rinsed off something that was still in there, but it would never be found in your body. What is still in there? We only fed them with 8 ml. So why is there, what do you guys have in there? How many milliliters of stuff?
9.
9.
Almost 9.
Yeah, almost 9. So where did that extra 10%, that extra liquid come from?
The cells.
More.
You can just shout it out at this point.
The cells. Jameson,
If you know it, you don't have to raise your hand.
Chris
We'll
has
just
some
ignore it.
stuff so loud.
So remember this? The Friedberg solution?
Yeah.
Was almost a whole milliliter in there. Well, that transferred over too, but this would be like, we can't grow our cells yet in an incubator because this would be like us being 10% antifreeze. We've got to get rid of it. That would never be found in our body. So what we do is we have to separate all of the liquid from the first feeding and rinsing from the solid stem
How
cells.
do you do that?
How do we do that? Think about a special machine that's really good for separating liquids and solids.
A strainer.
Okay, everyone put your equipment down. I don't want you to touch anything right now, because we need your hands on deck for the next step. Which is this. This is a centrifuge. So this spins your sample at 1,000 times a minute. Why isn't that mechanical stress? Why doesn't it kill all your cells? It's not shaking and dropping. It's a real smooth ride.
My flash,
I'm sorry, our
it
climate
sometimes
center
just wants to turn on.
on Monday, so I was like, I literally jumped out of my chair and knocked over my keyboard. And then our power went out, and Monday down here was crazy. Yesterday was crazy too. Damn it. Anyway,
I think we got a shot.
so we are gonna open this up. And this spins them, like it starts out gradually, and it's a real smooth ride. There's a magnet and a vacuum in there. It just gets in a smooth ride. Like when you're at a fair and you get on a ride, and it gradually, it doesn't immediately.
Oh, I've been on
Well,
one of
the
those. I
scrambler
literally
kind of
went
whips
50
you around,
feet
but-
in the air.
So anyway, what I need is one person from each group, and
Separate.
you guys just sit tight, because it only has 8 rotors, so we can only do 8 at once, so you guys wait for the next spin. One person from each group, drop your sample in one of the rotors, and remember your number.
I'm number 7.
I'm number
Okay,
5.
I'm 1.
6, 5, 4. Wait, I think down to 4.
Drop it in.
I got 8.
I have 5. 9.
I'm 1.
I have 7.
Guys,
We're missing 3.
whoever takes it over, you have a
At least I got to show. At least I got to record. In there before we
Okay.
put like the 6th time. I got it. It
Yeah.
only wants to die when
But
I'm
see
making
if
a
it
video.
vibrates too much, because if it starts vibrating, it means you guys didn't pipette exactly 8 mil. But I think everybody did a good job. I
Oh,
trust you.
okay, is it full now? Is there 8 in
And then
it?
it starts vibrating hard.
Okay, then Martha, you're in this one.
Yeah, so who still has one that hasn't spun? So you'll spin with mine, and then we'll be, because even if it's only 2, if they're opposite each other, we'll still balance.
Like, with that thing like that, did you suck up the
So I'm gonna spin this for a couple minutes. Now, here's where we can tell
Spill on the floor.
if you guys did an A+ job with the pipette and the 8 mil exactly, and it's vibrating a little bit, so I have to give you a B, sorry. Yeah, if they were like had the exact amount of liquid in there, it wouldn't vibrate as much, but it still works.
I got pretty close.
But why don't we blame it on whoever made the spiles? Maybe they didn't have the same amounts of cryoprotectant, so we'll just blame it on
Yeah.
someone else.
Blame it on the other people.
Yeah.
I like that.
The people who
Yeah.
kept the lab, yeah.
Yeah.
Too gnarly.
You like that?
My
Yeah.
friend's too gnarly.
Yeah, I like
Oh, Casey's great.
It's going on
But
for
I've seen
23
certain people
minutes.
lab.
Yeah. My camera's been
Genetics
dying
neighbor.
within that.
I didn't notice it.
I want to go to like all the colleges, like a ton of.
You want to turn on?
They were all full, right?
No, there was one that
Great.
just had a little, he did the small 8, or the bigger 8. I didn't realize that when you brought it over there.
Okay, that's okay. Obviously, it's
Because
a
they're like,
Are we
Chip.
allowed to like?
one that you're adding to it.
Chip.
not-
It's a tough machine.
Chip. And then how
That's
this
okay.
thing
This isn't as bad.
runs
This isn't
is
so bad, you
batteries.
guys. I had
These are
one that was
the batteries that.
Hey,
I got know
something?
What?
Spider is the only web designer that likes to catch bugs.
No, because I'm always right here.
So if you don't have the 8 in there, you balance it out. So
You have to take one out. Yeah,
so you even it.
yeah, yeah. And then I'm always doing this because if it did, like, let's say it stopped and someone pushed the button and someone else was leaning over, it clipped you in the chin, and I just have to be. That actually happened to someone. They just like, oh.
So it pops up.
Yeah, it pops up. It's not that fast, but it
We have a
wouldn't hit
question,
somebody,
But
but
still, yeah.
yeah.
Are
Can't
we
wait
allowed
to
to
see
like
this
turn
pop
these,
up.
but then turn them back?
It pops
No,
up.
please don't, because people have broken and jammed them by
Yeah,
doing that.
So Matthew, don't play around
Just
with
leave
it.
it at
You're
1,000.
done with it right now, so just put it down.
Ooh.
All right, so what I'm gonna do next is
So,
call a number.
took it over. So, yes, the one
Okay.
bonded, you take it over.
Ooh, number
And
one.
Camden goes to get it.
No, I'm not number one.
Laura and Cam.
Number one.
Nora, go get it.
Who's number one?
Would you mind doing a demonstration for everybody? It's pretty easy, because
Everybody has to do it anyway.
So just wait right there.
So you're gonna take
So you're
that.
gonna videotape it?
and go to
Yes.
the sink.
Why?
They haven't done their.
Just stand
Because
there.
he wants it for his mom.
Number three. Oh, this is the culprit.
Literally.
I'll put some more.
Number 3 is the culprit.
Number three. Who's number three?
Mixed up.
That's okay. Number three, I need someone from number three. It'll still work just fine.
Yeah, at first I got my
Okay, come on.
mixed up too.
Don't shake it. Go to the
Let me
sink.
guess, Olsen.
Okay, now everybody watch what they're gonna do when I
chair
tell
goes
them.
back where it was.
Everyone
Everyone
be
needs a chair.
quiet, please.
Put it down.
You're gonna take the cap off, and you're going to just turn it upside down, but don't shake it in the sink. All the way upside down, one smooth flick of the wrist. Don't drip it, don't shake it. Good, now turn it back right side up. Good.
So there's something still in there.
Yeah,
Don't dump
that's
again.
okay. A little splashback happens in the real lab, and it's not enough to kill the cells once they get a second fresh feed.
But there was
But
a,
you do want to let it just suspended animation. Let all the drips come out. Don't do it too quick, but it's fine. I mean, I've seen them in relaxing like that and that. Okay, so did everybody, and try not to